Dr. Ellis Edmonds here with another edition of Mindful Metaphors. And this one is a video blog. So I just wanted to personally say hello and uh, have a metaphor for you today about struggle and letting go. And so often the people I work with are coming to me and have something that they're really struggling with. And oftentimes it's really they're struggling with their own thoughts and their own feelings. Um, Regardless of the situation, the difficult situation often. These feelings and these thoughts, maybe some anger or frustration comes up around the situation. Or maybe there's some sadness, depression, or maybe there's a lot of fear and anxiety about the situation. But regardless of what comes up, um, there's usually struggle with it. We often don't want to be feeling these feelings of anxiety or depression, or maybe even difficult thoughts, self-criticisms that come up around maybe your mind telling you that you're not good enough, or there's something wrong with you. We don't like that, and we really want to just push it away, or we want to hide from those thoughts or those feelings. We really don't like it. And if you've read my other posts, you know this tug of war metaphor comes up a lot um, around struggle. It's really a metaphor of struggle and how we struggle with ourselves and how we struggle with our feelings and our thoughts, and we get into this big war with our feelings, and we think that the only way to get out of this feeling is to win the war and push the monster into the pit. Um, but it sort of doesn't work. And this week, I wanted to present a similar metaphor, but this is I just wanted to show you visually, which is a Chinese finger trap, and it sort of represents this struggle that we often have with ourselves and what's going on internally. And if you ever used one of these before, you sort of know how they work. And it's called a finger trap, a Chinese finger trap, for a reason, because when you put both your fingers in it in this way, they kind of get stuck here. And when you try to pull, they don't pull out. So this is sort of the struggle. This is like the tug of war. So this is often what happens when thoughts and feelings and anxiety maybe comes up for you, or fear comes up for you, that we kind of get stuck in it, right? We get stuck in that, we don't know what to do, and then when we try to do something to get out of it, to run away from it, to fight with it, this sort of happens. You know, get a little bit of separation, but then it's ultimately we're still stuck in there, and it's almost there's even more tension, and there's all this energy and work that you have to do to really try to pull your fingers apart, and think that maybe we can break the whole thing, and you know, it doesn't really work. This just kind of hurts to keep doing this, to be honest. So sometimes that's what happens. We kind of start hurting ourselves and criticizing ourselves, and judging ourselves, to try to get out of these feelings or whatever. So I shouldn't be feeling this way, or what's wrong with me, that kind of stuff. So this is what happens, right? And the more you struggle, the tighter it gets. It's just not. This doesn't work. And you can try and try and try, but it just doesn't work. So how do you get out of this thing? You get out of this thing by relaxing and noticing the trap is there, right? And what you actually do, instead of trying to pull away from it, you actually push inward, toward it, toward the difficulties. And this sort of represents looking at or facing our difficulties, our difficult feelings, our difficult thoughts, whatever is going on for us. So we sort of push toward it, look toward it, and then opens up space and room for us to move, and you can easily take your fingers out of it. So I hope this is a helpful little metaphor for sort of how we struggle with our thoughts and our feelings. And this is, so common that our minds do this to us. So you're certainly not alone. I know this struggle very well personally, and many people who also struggle in this way. But ultimately, when you get familiar with how it works, with how these traps that our mind throws at us work, it gets easier and easier to sort of get out of them. So remember, the key strategy is to not fight, not pull, and to not struggle in that forceful way, to sort of go backward, looking into our thoughts and our feelings, looking at them and seeing them for what they are, and that opens up space within us to then move. We give ourselves space to move when we allow our feelings and our thoughts to be as we are. So space, and then we can peacefully remove our fingers or sort of get ourselves unstuck from this struggle. Now, notice that the difficulties, if this represents our difficult feelings, our anxiety, maybe this represents our fear, that it's still here, right? We haven't just gone this and thrown it into the trash can or anything. But we're not stuck in it anymore. We're outside of it, and we can sort of see it for what it is. So I really hope this metaphor has been helpful. You can get these online, probably many different stores for pretty cheap if you want to get your own and experiment with it. It's a really good little metaphor for understanding struggle and how to let go and get unhooked. So I really hope this has been a helpful little video and a helpful episode of Mindful Metaphors. And until next time, I will see you again. Okay, take care.